So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and I wanted to talk about Coming to America 2 and Eddie Murphy, and I'll do that in a second. So, as usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada, an anonymous guy who posts some YouTube audio, I guess. I have a MBA, I have a computer science degree, got a scholarship a long time ago to help with the first one, the second one. I travel around a bit, and I know how to Latin dance and to stay afloat for hours at a time. So that's me. And Eddie Murphy and Coming to America 2. So I saw it a while ago, and it was fun. And that's what a movie is supposed to be. I was not directly mentally comparing it to the first one, but if I was a little bit, it was simply to say that Eddie looks like he has some more pounds on him than before, of course. And he's maybe a little bit less edgier than before, because I guess he's a father and stuff. I wonder how many of his 10 kids he had at the time when he did that movie. Anyway, if there's one thing that I would nitpick about, it would be the fact that there was a certain threat that was in the movie to the movie, Eddie Murphy, and that threat just went away by the end of the movie with no real good explanation as to why. If you ignore that, and then you also ignore the idea that somebody would give up so much for someone that they just met recently, then it makes sense. But aside from that, is that why we came to see this movie? Heck no. Or at least not people who may have seen the first one. The reason why you came to see the second movie is to see some of the people who were in the first movie. And I have to say, in terms of the cameos that they had on there, I don't know if you call it a cameo if the person is not just like, in the next car over waving, if they're actually doing stuff in the movie. I don't know if you call it a cameo, but isn't there like an app by the name of Cameo or something like that? Well, I know the app, but I wonder if its name is Cameo. Anyway, Coming to America was enjoyable. I liked seeing the old characters. And, Eddie Murphy was saying that it's a thankless job dressing as certain characters because they do such a good job that you don't know that it's Eddie Murphy or Arsenio Hall dressed up. And I think there's a Jewish guy in the barber shop that Eddie Murphy goes to in both Coming to Americas. And it is Eddie Murphy dressed up as an old Jewish guy, I believe, or at least an old white guy anyway. And he said that somebody didn't know. And I was like, and he said it was the reason why it's of note is because how long it takes for them to put on the makeup. It can take 6 hours or something like that. So in order to do 6 people or however many people in the movie, instead of taking one day, it took like a week or something for everybody, him and Arsenio, to be the several characters in that scene. And wow. The thing, he's saying it's a thankless job, but I would say that having Arsenio or Eddie Murphy in a body and, cracking jokes rather than just hiring somebody else who is not one of them, I think that is not, even if nobody knows that it's you, I think that you get the value of why we came to see the movie. We get the actor with his wisecracking self in that character. So, of course, Wesley Snipes is in the movie, and I guess there had been a lot of talk about where they would put Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy, because I had seen some interviews that Eddie Murphy and Arsenio, and Eddie Murphy alone, had, and they were talking about the fact that they wanted Arsenio, yeah, they wanted Wesley Snipes in the movie, especially for some of these fight scenes or whatever, and that was interesting. Yeah, I would say, it's nice to see Wesley Snipes in a movie, but at the same time to remember that he used to be carrying movies on his own as the action star. From that perspective, it's not necessarily as great to see him as a supporting character in a movie. Tracy Morgan is also in the movie. It was funny because when they were interviewing, somebody was interviewing Tracy Morgan, and yeah, I can't remember. Well, the guy's not famous to me, but he was interviewing a bunch of people, and one of them was Tracy Morgan. And he was telling Tracy Morgan, I know you probably look up to Eddie Murphy. And Tracy Morgan goes, I don't look up to him. The only person I look up to is my dad. And but I look across to him. And I can understand. Tracy Morgan has had he has had one other noteworthy incident or whatever with respect to Tiffany Haddish, where he was working with Tiffany Haddish, and people were asking him, like, what is it like to work with Tiffany Haddish? And he didn't really take it so well, because I guess he would have seen himself as, Tracy Morgan. And Tracy Morgan is pretty funny. But Tracy Morgan, regardless of, I don't know if he's Eddie Murphy's age, but I'm sorry, Tracy, you don't have like 25 different movies, some of which won Razzies or whatever. So maybe you don't look up to Eddie Murphy as being, somebody who's on a higher tier than you, but everybody else does. So I guess that, it's unfortunate, and maybe I might say something similar, but unfortunately, yeah, you're Tracy Morgan, you're funny, but everybody mostly knows you for 30 Rock, and not like your own show and your own movies and SNL and blah 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 blah. I mean, Tracy Morgan was on SNL, but there's a lot more well-known people than Tracy Morgan across the board. So I thought it was kind of hilarious. They were asking, is it not Jimmy Fallon? The other Jimmy, I guess it's the other Jimmy, was asking Wesley Snipes and Arsenio Hall, so how did Louis Anderson, how did he get to be in the movie? I mean, how did you decide? And then Arsenio is like, well, they told us there has to be a white guy in the movie, so here's a list, and pick which one you want to work with, because there has to be a white guy in the movie. And I was like, wow, that is hilarious. And then they asked Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel asked, so who were the other comedians, I guess, that you passed up on? And Arsenio was like, I can't tell you that. But aside from all of that, I guess it was today or yesterday that I saw someone again was interviewing. I know he was on a podcast being interviewed, and Eddie Murphy revealed that he stopped acting because he was getting so many Razzies, like for like worst actor instead of best actor. So he was getting so many Razzies back to back to back that he was like, you know what, I need to stop acting for a while. And let's just see how this goes for a bit. And he says that 1 year was just supposed to be for 1 year, and the next thing you know, it turned into 6 years. And then he's like, so I've been on this couch for 6 years. and I could probably just continue to be on this couch, but I don't want the last thing that people see me in to be those things that I got, that movies that didn't do so well. And he's like, yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get off this couch and do a couple of things. He said it was just supposed to be SNL and Dolomite and maybe do a tour, a comedy tour of the US. And then he would just see how it goes after that. Of course, he took the comedy tour, got cancelled because of the illness, as Graham Stephan would say, which is pretty funny. But apparently, he got a Razzie Redeemer Prize for being in Dolomite, which is to say that he redeemed himself from getting previous Razzies for Worst Actor by his performance in Dolomite, which encourages one to go and look at Dolomite. And, for a second there, I was kind of like, well, I really wonder. I liked Pluto Nash. I thought that it was kind of funny, you know? It was kind of ridiculous, but it was also kind of funny. And 1,000 words or something like that. I thought that was kind of interesting too. I'm somebody who's seen a number of Eddie Murphy's movies, and I didn't know whether or not they're bad. Apparently, there was some of the movie called I Spy, and I don't think I saw that one, but I went looking to see, like, okay, how bad were these movies that Eddie Murphy made, and at least box office wise, oh my God, I don't know that it was his choice to stop making these movies or something, because I would be like, when you look at how much these movies are making, is this a kind of Nicolas Cage kind of thing? Did you owe a whole bunch of money and you had to keep acting? Because I don't know why anybody would be paying you to be in these movies. All right, I think one of these movies, the budget was like $60 million, and it must have made 40 back. Another one, the budget must have been like, let's say 40, and then it made 23 million. And this is not COVID related, box offices. This is back in the day when everybody was healthy and Eddie Murphy was a big star. So these things, movies are supposed to make like at least twice the amount of money that was budgeted to make them, because they spend about the same amount of money that they made to make the film. They usually spend that amount of money to advertise these movies. So yeah, these movies did really, really bad, and wow, he was smart. He was smart to take that break, and he was smart to make it last longer. I don't know. I don't know if him and Chappelle, how that was working. Of course, Chappelle had a very different situation, but I know, what's his name, Michael Jackson. It was 4 years after his court cases that he was planning on touring the world again. So I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, the same way you would like me to give you feedback if this were your stuff. Have a good one. Peace.